Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm so glad you're here with me today. I'm Rita Hickman, body mind expert, shiatsu massage therapist, and I help women deal with stress. I help women learn how to dial down the stress in their life mentally, physically, emotionally, and avoid a lot of the health problems that come with that, whether it be heart problems or autoimmune disorders or headaches or dizziness or congestion or the health issues that come that turn into big health issues. I help women deal with them before they become a really big problem. Or if they've become a big problem, hey Sharon, great to see you. Or if they become a really big problem and how to help resolve it. So I love the topic of sound, and we're going to be talking about sound all week this week because I've got something called Accutonics. Hey, Sulina. I've got something called Accutonics coming to McHenry, coming to my space this weekend, and it's all about using sound and Asian medicine to really stimulate acupuncture points. Hey, Erica, nice to see you. And I've been into sound since I was a kid. We'd sing in church, even my dad, who couldn't sing a note, so it was very acceptable. And then I happened to be good enough to have a voice, so I sang in the choir, and then I got into band, and then I got into swing choir, and I did all of that jazz, all the way up to getting a minor in vocal music. I did stage music, everything. I hit a point in my life where I realized that I didn't want to sing just to sing. I wanted it to have a purpose. And that's when I started to use music for healing and ceremonial purposes. I got hooked up with a great group of people up in Rapid River, Michigan, and they were Ojibwe, and they were international, and they would do sweat lodges, and they would do talking circles, and music was a really big piece. And so for me, it was perfect, learning how music and healing went hand in hand together. So one of the things that I loved to do, in fact, was a gift, was a bodhrán. A bodhrán is an Irish drum and a Celtic drum, and it actually was used to get the blood up and get us going into war, get us going into assertiveness and get excited about things. That's what a bodhrán was used for. So this is the front. It's got a regular cowhide, and then this is the back. And usually it has a double-edged wood striker, but I prefer to use a regular striker. And I got into using drumming because there wasn't anything else for me to do. Everybody else had a job. Hey, Lillian, nice to see you. Everybody else had a job in the ceremony, in the rituals, but me. And all I had was a drum. And so I decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start drumming. And I'm going to drum around the group. I'm going to drum around the circle. And it tied back into something I loved about live music. Live music, whenever I'd walk away from a really good live concert, my whole body would be vibrating. I would feel like I got a sound massage, a vibration massage. And that got me then into using singing bowls for healing and gongs and things like that. And but one of my favorites is still my drum, just because it's so earthy and it's so grounding. It's got so much metaphor around it, so it makes me feel good to drum people. One of the things you want to realize when you're doing any sort of sound healing is it's not just the sound that does the work. It's also your energy, your state of mind, your passion. Hey, Sky, good to see you. Your passion, your desire to help, your energy. The drum magnifies your energy. So it not only adds its own sound and sound vibrations, but it takes how you feel and who you are, and it magnifies it. So I loved the drum because of how drumming made me feel, not always just because of what the drum was doing. It made me feel more alive. It vibrated my body when I was drumming, and that made me feel better and become a better healer. So how does drumming help with depression? Well, let's start out with drumming by yourself. When you drum by yourself, drumming, you can feel the vibration. There's activity, there's movement. You're not just holding and waiting. You're actually engaged in something. You're living and breathing the drumming. It becomes something for you. So it's a wonderful trance meditation. And when you have a tool like a drum that helps you relax, hey, Sheetal, nice to see you. When you have something, a tool that helps you relax, that helps your blood vessels open up, then your body starts to heal itself. People used to use drumming to put themselves specifically into trance states. So they would drum for vision quests. They would drum for ceremony. They would drum for any time they needed an answer. Hey, Julie, because drumming puts you into this open-minded trance state. Here's one of the reasons why. Not just the vibration, and you can see the drum kind of vibrating, but also because of, how do I want to say it? The vibration gets you, but the repetition gets you too. When you do something repetitively that you don't have to think a lot about, like shamanic drumming, when you do something ritualistically and it's very patterned, it puts your mind into a trance state. Maybe you've noticed it when you've watched a fire, when you've listened to rain, when you've done long distance driving. You get into that open-minded healing state, and you're able to get out of fight or flight and start to reconnect and think clearer and think bigger. So shamanic drumming, when you do it for yourself or for somebody else, and shamanic drumming is rhythmic drumming that keeps the same beat. It's not exciting, it's not amazing, but it is amazing. Because what it does is it gets you into the zone. It gets you into that flow where all of healing happens. You can't heal when you're resisting something, when you're in a bad space. So drumming, when I drum for myself, it moves me out of the space of fight or flight. It starts to vibrate my whole body, and it takes you to a space that's past the depression. Hey, Dana, that's on the other side of the depression, because it dials down that whole fight or flight. Now, when you drum for other people, they're able to really immerse themselves in the sound, and they can let themselves feel the vibration. When I drum over somebody, when I drum with them, I'll drum over their whole body, and I'll make a point to drum over their feet and over their head, because that's where you can really feel it. We've got all of those nerve endings, and I'll drum over their abdomen too, to be real specific, because that's where they can feel the vibration. It's not even about what you hear. Drumming isn't about what you hear as much as it's about how it makes you feel, the vibration of the drum acting on the body. And that's one of the things I love about it, because it's not you trying to get out of depression by being in your head. It's about getting out of depression by getting back into your body and vibrating everything and getting it to a different state. Have you ever felt really agitated when you've been around, let's say, the construction next door, or when you've been around a jackhammer? It makes you feel unsettled, uncomfortable. It doesn't make you feel grounded. Something like drumming does the opposite then. It ends up vibrating everything in a rhythmic sort of way, so that you can calm down, so that your body heals itself, and it gets you into that better space. So let's say you want to drum with a group. The great thing about drumming with a group is there's other people drumming, so now you get to lose yourself in the sound, in the music. When you drum for yourself, you get to lose yourself in the playing. When you drum for somebody else, they get to lose themselves in what they feel. When you drum as a group, you get to fall into the sound and the music and the creativity of it all. You get to be free. It gives you a level of freedom. And those are different things that take you out of the mindset of depression and out of the felt sense of depression and into an open-minded, open-bodied space where your body starts to feel better. So you want to, drumming is a great way to vibrate everything and get you out of the negative, difficult space that you're in and into a much better place to be in. So what does that have to do with this workshop we're doing this weekend? This workshop is all about it, except it's using tuning forks. So it's using tuning forks very specifically with Asian medicine in order to stimulate those specific points. You know, when you use drumming, like I would use drumming on the head and on the feet, it has a very specific effect on people, because those are points or areas that people associate with different thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So when you use tuning forks with Asian medicine, you can get really dialed down to very specific emotions and very specific thoughts to help people rewire that, help people get onto a different path. So if you're interested in sound healing, if you're interested in drumming, my suggestion would be is to just get a drum. You can drum for yourself. It doesn't have to be creative. It can be shamanic, and shamanic is just that rhythmic. And it'll take you from the space that you're in of unhappy or difficult or conflicted or stressed. And within 10 or 15 minutes, it'll put you back into that open-minded, creative, feeling better, relaxed space. It's great because it's free, which makes it really cheap. You can do it by yourself. You don't need anybody else to make you feel better. And it tells your body to heal, not just your mental state, but also all those things underlying it, all the health issues that are associated with stress, that are associated with not being able to get relaxed, okay? So that's the tip for today. My homework for you is to find something that's rhythmic, whether it's a washing machine or a dryer or a drum or a singing bowl. But if you notice yourself starting to go down a path you don't like, hey Jazz, great to see you. Starting to go down a path you don't like, a path that you don't want to spend the rest of your day feeling in that depressed or anxious state, I suggest you pick up your drum, you find someplace by yourself, and just drum for 10 or 15 minutes. And it'll make that shift between anxiety, obsession, paranoia, worry, OCD, stomach issues, stress in your shoulders, whatever it may be, whatever issue you feel yourself having, it will relieve. It will relieve in about 10 or 15 minutes. Just that rhythmic drumming. As I said, you don't have to do anything creative. It's just... And if you don't have a drum, use a bucket, use a pan, use a pot. I had a good friend of mine who turned everything into a drum. Hey, Angela. He'd turn the steering wheel into a drum. He'd always be doing rhythms. And it's those rhythms that entrain us and get us back into the state of mind that we want to be in, which is creative, curious, open, centered, that highest version of ourselves. So if you're tired of being in the negative space and you're tired of being around the negative people, grab a drum, grab a tuning fork, and do a little bit of vibrational therapy. And it'll set you back on track so you can be your highest self. Okay? So share, like, love, comment on other people's comments. Let me know that you're there, that this is helpful, that it's moving you in a great direction. And let's really keep making this a wonderful tribe that it is, okay? So I hope you have a great rest of your day. And if we're lucky, I'll see you this weekend. Bye.